standing on a once picturesque coastline in the New England region of the United States. The scene in front of us is enough to make any ecologist's heart tighten. As far as the eye could see, it was no longer the golden sand and clear waves, but covered by a layer of constantly wriggling and shimmering biological carpet with a greenish-brown shell luster. Tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, of palm-sized green crabs, like undead legions from the deep sea. Accompanied by every wave of waves, persistently surging onto the beach. They stack on top of each other, digging holes in the sand and weaving an ecological nightmare with their claws. The peaceful coast that once echoed with seagulls chirping and children playing. At this moment, it seems to have turned into a strange and silent biological battlefield. There is no gunpowder here, but destruction silently occurs every second. This is not the filming location for doomsday sci-fi movies, but rather since the early 19th century. The ecological reality that continues to unfold on multiple temperate coastlines around the world. The protagonist of this green crab craze, European green crabs, although small in size. But it is one of the most headache-inducing invaders in the field of marine ecology today, the embodiment of a huge economic and ecological nightmare. According to comprehensive estimates by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and related research institutions in the United States. This unremarkable creature causes direct and indirect economic losses of up to $22.6 million annually in the United States alone. Wherever they go, they are like bulldozers in the ecological chain, disrupting the original ecosystem structure. Shaking the fishing foundation of coastal communities and even posing a potential threat to coastal engineering. An unavoidable question arises in the minds of every researcher, fisherman, and manager. How can such a tiny and seemingly vulnerable creature cross oceans? And pose such a severe and persistent challenge to the ecology and economy of a modern country? However, the deeper context of the story is far more complex and alarming than a single invasion narrative. At a time when humans are struggling to contain the proliferation of this alien species. In the Northern Ocean known for its extreme cold and abundance, the Bering Sea. A related but fundamentally different ecological tragedy is unfolding simultaneously. Our precious local marine treasure, the economically valuable snow crab. Mysteriously disappearing on an unprecedented scale due to global climate change. This stark double tragedy, like a cold mirror, forces us to examine the complex and contradictory roles played by human activities, global trade and greenhouse gas emissions, in the Earth's ecosystem. This article will delve into the epic global invasion of the European blue crab, from its stunning biological advantages to its diffusion path achieved through human globalization networks, from traditional human resistance to cutting-edge technological response strategies, and ultimately reveal the profound global warnings about globalization, climate change, and Earth system management behind this regional ecological crisis. To understand the scale and severity of the crab invasion, we first need to act like detectives. Thoroughly analyze the main opponent of this ecological war, European blue crabs. Its scientific name *Cercinus minus * means crazy crab in Greek. This name accurately captures the aggressiveness and vitality inherent in its behavior. Its success is not accidental, but the result of its survival toolbox polished by millions of years of evolution, perfectly matching the characteristics of the Anthropocene environment. The width of the adult shell of European blue crabs is usually between 6 and 8 centimeters, rarely exceeding 10 centimeters. Perfectly suitable for the size of an adult's palm. Its body color is a versatile camouflage, ranging from deep olive green, yellow-green to orange-red or even reddish-brown depending on age, molting stage, and habitat environment. The shell is often scattered with unique spots or mesh patterns. In front of numerous large and succulent edible crabs, its appearance does appear ordinary or even somewhat unremarkable. However, this inconspicuousness is the perfect disguise for their danger, making them easily overlooked in the early stages of invasion. Experienced biologists would point out several key distinguishing features. Its shell is a slightly wider pentagon. The front edge is clearly arranged with 5 sharp tooth protrusions, which are important morphological markers that distinguish it from many local crab species. Their 5 pairs of foot tips are sharp, suitable for fast crawling and even climbing in rapids. And the last pair of walking feet were slightly flattened, giving them a certain swimming ability. A pair of claws of varying sizes are their powerful tools, with larger claws used to crush shells. Smaller ones are used for cutting and feeding. If appearance is their disguise, then their inherent physiological plasticity. It is their core weapon for conquering cities and territories. The green crab can be regarded as an all-around player in the ocean world with a wide tolerance range, leaving many specialized species far behind. Dual challenges of temperature and salinity. Blue crabs are typical warm and salty organisms. Laboratory research and field observations have confirmed that the temperature range in which they can survive extends from near freezing point 0 degrees Celsius to a surprising 30 degrees Celsius or above. Meanwhile, the salinity range they can adapt to ranges from almost freshwater to completely seawater or even higher. This extraordinary ability means that they can swim upstream from the open ocean, all the way against the current. Invasion into river mouths, bays, and even deep into downstream rivers. Occupying numerous ecological niches where native species cannot survive due to their inability to tolerate drastic changes in salinity or temperature. Hypoxia tolerance and pollution resistance, in eutrophic enclosed harbors or crowded ballast tanks. Dissolved oxygen content may be extremely low. However, green crabs can survive for a considerable amount of time in such low oxygen environments. This provides the possibility for their long-distance smuggling and survival in unhealthy environments. In addition, studies have shown that they also exhibit a certain tolerance to certain heavy metals and organic pollutants. This gives them an unfair competitive advantage in polluted ports affected by human activities. Opportunistic feeding habits. As a typical omnivorous opportunist, the diet of green crabs is almost omniscient. They are efficient predators that feed on bivalves. Being able to cleverly pry open, crush, or force shellfish to open their shells due to fatigue through specialized claws or long-term clamping. At the same time, they also feed on polychaete worms, small crustaceans, juvenile fish, seaweed, and animal carcasses. This flexible strategy of eating whatever they encounter ensures that they enter any new environment. Can quickly find food sources without going through a long adaptation process. The reproductive ability of green crabs is the core engine for their successful invasion. It is also the biological basis for the exponential growth of its population in the short term. Extremely high reproductive capacity. A sexually mature female crab can lay up to 180,000 eggs or even more in one breeding season. They do not directly discharge the eggs into the water, but adhere the fertilized eggs to the incubation chamber formed by folding their abdomen. For several weeks, the mother crab will carry this huge group of eggs. By fanning the abdomen to provide oxygen and protection, the hatching rate of eggs is greatly improved. Long breeding season and multiple egg laying. In warm climates, green crabs can reproduce almost year-round. Some individuals can even lay eggs multiple times within a year, and as long as the environmental conditions are suitable, reproductive activities will continue uninterrupted. Powerful larval dispersal ability. After hatching, flea-like larvae enter the planktonic stage, which can last for weeks to months. During this period, these tiny larvae drift away with ocean currents and can easily spread to tens or even hundreds of kilometers away. This means that even if only one breeding population is established in a major port, it is enough to sow and colonize the entire connected bay, strait, or coastline through the spread of larvae. This settlement diffusion cycle often makes the effectiveness of local control seem inadequate. It is precisely this biological characteristic that combines high environmental tolerance, broad diet, and super reproductive ability. Together, they have forged the green crab as the cornerstone of the perfect survival machine, making it an ideal opportunistic species in the context of the Anthropocene. Faced with the surging attack of green crabs, humans are not just waiting for death. A comprehensive defense and governance campaign with multiple fronts and strategies has been ongoing for decades. This battle was full of frustration, but also shone with the light of wisdom and resilience. The most direct and traditional way of coping is physical clearance. Many fishermen in the New England region and along the coast of California have adjusted their work methods. We have shifted our focus to the green crab. They drive small and medium-sized fishing boats, bouncing in the wind and waves, throwing steel or mesh traps weighing tens of kilograms into the sea. The design principle of these traps is simple and effective, easy to enter but difficult to exit. A few hours later, when the crew relied on the winch to pull the heavy trap onto the deck, the scene that often catches the eye is filled with hundreds of wildly dancing claws and stomping on each other's green crabs. The deck instantly turned into a slippery, chaotic, and vibrant crab carpet. The next task is sorting, collecting, and disposing. However, this battle was filled with hardships and an inner sense of powerlessness. Fishing work is extremely difficult and dangerous. Wet and slippery deck, undulating hull, taut and potentially bouncing ropes. All pose a continuous threat to the safety of the crew. A small mistake can lead to serious injury. What's even more frustrating is that this effort seems to be fighting against the tide. Today we worked hard to catch thousands of them, and tomorrow the sea will replenish even more. The continuous supplementation of larvae makes the population highly resilient. This kind of confrontation is metaphorically described by ecologists and fishermen as scooping water from a sinking boat. Effort is truly visible, sweat will not flow in vain, but it cannot fundamentally prevent the trend of ships sinking. It highlights the limitations of relying solely on end-of-pipe clearance strategies. The natural distribution of European blue crabs was originally limited to the northeast Atlantic, from the coasts of Norway to Mauritania, including the North Sea, Baltic Sea, and Mediterranean Sea. However, since the early 19th century, it has successfully invaded every continent in the world except Antarctica. Listed as one of the 100 most threatened invasive species in the world by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Its global journey does not rely on its own swimming or crawling abilities. But it is closely intertwined with the shipping network of human globalization, and is an invasion epic written with the help of human power. Main invasion carriers, ballast water and live trade. Ballast water, the invisible Trojan horse. This is the most important and efficient way for green crabs to achieve long-distance diffusion across oceans. Modern ocean-going cargo ships pump thousands of tons of seawater into specialized ballast tanks at the departure port in order to maintain stability and maneuverability when unloaded or lightly loaded. These seawater are filled with plankton, fish eggs, larvae, and tiny benthic organisms. This includes the planktonic larvae of green crabs. When the ship arrives at the destination port to load goods, it will discharge the ballast water carrying ecological stowaways into the local waters. Historical records indicate that they landed on the east coast of North America for the first time in the early 19th century as ballast water for merchant ships sailing from Europe to North America. Live seafood trade and live bait, green crabs are sometimes used as bycatch when fishing for other species. Transported intentionally or unintentionally with live seafood. In addition, they have also been used as live bait for fishing. Even if the initial number introduced is small, as long as there are mature male and female individuals present. A single spark can ignite a prairie fire and quickly establish a breeding population in a new environment. Ship attachment and seaweed transportation, although not as common as ballast water, adult crabs may also attach to the ship's hull. Or hide in algae and shellfish communities growing on the hull of the ship for short-distance diffusion. With the transportation of large seaweed, it is also one of the potential ways of introduction. Global invasion hotspots and ecological impacts. The invasion footprint of green crabs spreads throughout the temperate waters of various oceans around the world. And it has caused particularly significant impacts in some areas. The east coast of North America, as the earliest invasion site, green crabs first appeared here around 1817. Subsequently, they rapidly spread along the east coast of North America, reaching as far north as Nova Scotia and the Gulf of St. Lawrence in Canada. South to Chesapeake Bay and continuously infiltrating south to Florida. They have dealt a devastating blow to the local soft-shell clam fishery and competed for resources with native species such as blue crabs. West coast of North America, around 1989, green crabs were first discovered in San Francisco Bay, California. Afterwards, they rapidly spread northward along ocean currents and coastlines. It has now spread throughout the vast sea area from Puget Sound, Washington to British Columbia, Canada. Here, they not only directly prey on economic shellfish, but also pose a direct competition and predation threat to the important local treasure crabs. New battlefields in the Southern Hemisphere, Tasmania Island in Australia, waters near Cape Town in South Africa, and the Patagonian coast of Argentina in South America, all of which are biodiversity hotspots that have not been spared. The invasion of green crabs poses unprecedented challenges to the unique and often historically isolated local marine ecosystems, leading to the decline of many local invertebrate populations. Other regions, it has also been confirmed that populations of green crabs have been established in Japan, South Korea, Brazil, and other places, and their global expansion trend is still ongoing. The global invasion history of green crabs clearly outlines a map of byproducts of human global trade. Every voyage of a transoceanic cargo ship may be a potential, intangible ecological invasion event. It reveals a harsh reality. In the era of globalization, species barriers are being unprecedentedly weakened by human shipping networks. When the green crab successfully establishes a population in a new habitat and reaches a certain density, Its ecological impact is like a stone thrown into still water, causing ripples that will affect the entire ecosystem and even the socio-economic structure. The green crab is profoundly reshaping the local ecological structure and function through various direct and indirect pathways, playing the role of a negative ecosystem engineer. Huge predation pressure. They have strong metabolic demands and efficient predation techniques, exerting enormous predation pressure on benthic invertebrates, especially bivalves. They can not only prey on juvenile shellfish, but also successfully hunt adult shellfish. Long-term monitoring data in Maine and other places in the United States shows that the explosive growth of green crab populations is highly consistent with the collapse of economic shellfish populations such as soft-shelled clams in both time and space, with a clear causal relationship. Destruction of habitat physical structure. They will extensively flip sediment during foraging, searching for prey lurking in the sand and mud. This digging behavior not only directly harms shellfish, but may also damage the root system of seagrass beds, leading to patchy or even death of seagrass. Seaweed beds are important breeding grounds and carbon sinks for marine organisms, and their degradation can trigger a series of cascading ecological effects. At the same time, flipping sediment can exacerbate water turbidity, affect the feeding efficiency of other filter-feeding organisms, and block light, affecting photosynthesis. Cascade effect of food web. As a mid-level predator in the ecological chain, the outbreak of green crabs will result in intense food and spatial competition with local crabs, lobsters, bottom-dwelling fish, etc. Due to their usually more aggressive and adaptable nature, green crabs are often able to exclude native species. This competition can lead to the decline of local predator populations, which may release pressure on their next-level prey. Or it may lead to the depletion of certain bait organisms due to excessive predation. This triggers a cascade reaction of the entire food chain from top to bottom or from bottom to top, changing the stable state of the ecosystem. The drastic changes in the ecosystem will inevitably be transmitted to human society, causing tangible economic losses. The nightmare of shellfish farming. This is the field most directly and severely impacted by green crabs. Both bottom-seated clams and oysters, as well as hanging farmed mussels, are exposed to predation by green crabs. Farmers have to invest huge amounts of money in protection, such as laying expensive underwater fences and conducting regular manual cleaning. These have significantly increased production costs. The decrease in harvest and the increase in costs are directly eroding the profit margins of the livestock industry, threatening the survival of many family-owned fishing grounds. The dilemma of wild fishing. Green crabs will burrow into fixed fishing nets, which not only damages the quality of the catch. It will also consume small organisms or bait caught in the net, increasing the sorting time for fishermen and the loss of fishing gear. In some areas, they have even reached the level of rampant disasters, making fishing operations primarily focused on target species increasingly difficult. Potential risks of infrastructure. Although not as significant as the impact on fisheries, there are reports and studies indicating that the gathering of a large number of green crabs may block the inlet pipelines of power plants and seawater desalination plants, or cause slight erosion impact on the stability of dams and beaches. The estimated annual economic loss of $22.6 million is the result of the direct productivity loss, increased protection costs, and indirect impact on the related industry chain mentioned above. It eloquently proves that the issue of invasive species is not just an environmental issue. It is also a serious socio-economic issue that concerns the livelihoods and stability of coastal communities. The invasion of green crabs and the collapse of snow crabs, these two seemingly independent events. We have woven together a grand narrative about our era. It is far more than the success of one species or the tragic history of another, but a prism reflecting the profound contradictions, unintended consequences, and unprecedented difficult choices inherent in the relationship between humans and nature in the context of the Anthropocene. We are facing a fragmented ocean. On one side is the destruction and chaos that appears surplus due to the overgrowth of invasive species, and on the other side is the scarcity, exhaustion, and economic losses caused by the extinction of native species. We play multiple and contradictory roles in this crisis. We are the creators of problems, and we are the direct bearers of problems. At the same time, we are also tireless and creative solvers. Returning to the fundamental question that has haunted countless managers and scientists. Can we ultimately defeat or eradicate widely established invasive species like the green crab? The cruel reality is that for many invasive species like the blue crab, which have a wide distribution range and a huge population, thoroughly eradicating it in its new home is an almost impossible task in terms of technology and economy. Our future prosperity and security depend not only on our ability to control a specific invasive species. It depends more on whether we have enough collective wisdom, foresight, and courage to understand and respond to these complex systemic connections. In a world full of paradoxes and uncertainties, find a more resilient and sustainable path for all life, including ourselves. The huge waves caused by this small crab on the coastline will ultimately define our future relationship with the entire life support system.